Now that I have a local axis created, let's go ahead and try and create a profile on the local axis system. I can select this profile, or I'm in the geometrical set and I know if I go right to pad and select OK and pick the sketch feature inside the pop-up window of the pad feature, it will allow me to pick a position. I want a position right on this axis on the Y vector. And on the Z vector. And I'll select OK. Remember, we don't want to actually work on that local axis system. Got a bad feeling I got to log off because my system's going super slow right now. I'll turn my grid back on here. I don't want to work on that local axis system because, for example, if I create a rectangle on that profile, you may recall from the sketch, when I look at my geometrical sets, I don't have 4 points. I only have 3 points and 4 lines, which means I can move all 3 corners with the exception of this one. So I don't like that. I want to always be able to control that. At this time, the datum is defaulted to this and this. But if I decide I want the top line and this line to be a datum, there's no way to fix that. So if you use the technique I show you, I can switch my datums around or what corner my local axis will be. So I'll highlight that and hit delete. And we will go to the sketch tab and use rectangle or this rectangle feature over here. And I'm simply going to select a point. And just for kicks, I'm going to use this option over here and do a width of 5 and a height of 3 and hit enter. And when I use that option, it automatically creates those constraints. And you'll notice I now have 4 points and 4 lines. So now I can control any one of these corners to be connected to my local axis. In order to connect to the local axis, the best way to do that would be to use contact. I'm going to contact this horizontal line, and then I'm going to contact this vertical line to this yellow line here, or yellow vector. And you'll see in my constraints, I've added 2 new coincidences. This coincident right here should immediately be renamed. Why don't I see properties? I should be renaming this to datum A and datum B. I have to think about why it's not letting me do that, but I'm going to go ahead and do something different here. I'm going to do elongated hole, and I'm going to go from here down and then come over, something like this. I'm going to delete that arc, and I'm going to use a feature called quick trim to remove this line on the inside. And this black line is this offset here. Okay, so I got to quick trim this line here. I'm going to do a quick trim. All right, slide this back out here or over here so it doesn't look weird. The reason why this is still black is because it's unconstrained. So we have to create a constraint. So you got to remember where we had contact, and we got to switch this to constraint. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to constrain this line to this datum edge and click a position, and now it knows where the slot's going to be. I need this radius dimension, so I'm going to select constraint and grab this curve and put on the radius. Now, did you see how it turned purple. The purple means it's over constrained. I'm going to select this one here because I don't need it and hit delete, and it removes that. I went from over constrained to now under constrained. What I need to do is define a constraint that defines the length of that slot. How deep is that slot going to go? And I'll hit enter. And I'm not sure what I'm missing. So a lot of times what I like to do is just kind of highlight that and go to auto constrain and see if it can figure out what dimension do I still need. So I just say, okay, you figure it out, you tell me. Oh, I added a perpendicular though on here. I got these are vertical. So I'm going to hit undo real quick, see if I can figure out why that's the case. Oh, see, I don't have these lines vertical. So when I do that elongated hole, sometimes it doesn't make these lines vertical, so you select these two and use the dialog box that's the second feature under constraints. And we'll force those to go vertical. I'll select OK. Why is this curve still under constraint? Because I have this center point located this way and that way. So let me just try and highlight this and do an auto constraint just that piece and see if you can tell me why. Oops. Highlight this profile and then hit the auto constraint. Say OK, see if it does anything. No. Let's highlight this whole thing here. Notice I'm just highlighting what needs to be in reference to the axis and this just this part here because all of that's already constrained. I'll hit auto constrain and hit OK. Yeah, this is a coincidence. I shouldn't have had to create this constraint. I feel like this is over constrained. If I change this to a 1/2 inch, oh, see the problem now. I'm going to hit undo and undo, and I'm going to undo that last dimension. I'm going to try and set, I don't know if I can, I'm going to try and select this point and this line to be coincident, and I'll select OK, and now see that's green. So I'm controlling that line. That point wasn't linked to the top of this line. So now the part is fully constrained and it's closed. So there's your constraint, and this is a closed profile. When I click on this, it highlights everything, just verifying I got no gaps and no overlaps. This part is now ready to go ahead and make a solid. So in the next demo we'll do that.